In 2019, 2020, it was Princess Pepper that I was dealing with in the marriage. So you were cheating on me with Princess Pepper, and you said she's air hostess. It was because of her at some point I started, applying, to see if I'll get a job as an air hostess. Because you made me, I lost my self-esteem. I thought, oh, maybe that's his new spec, because I knew how much he felt like he really loved that girl. It was only, that's what I thought. But you always be telling me, when he has finished, behaving mad, like running mad. Like what I mean by running mad, like he's scattering things, insulting me, calling me names. If you're talking about when he has done with that phase, and he's now calm, he would then now start trying to convince me that, oh, nothing is going on between me and this girl, that she's just giving me, and that's what he was saying that time, that she was just giving him clients, and that the girl was always giving him money. And many times I would say, are you a prostitute that you are following a girl because of money? Who is not supposed to be giving whom? I mean, who is supposed to be giving whom money? But that's what he was telling me, that the girl is giving him dollars and euros and kiniko, and the girl is giving him clients. But I was not happy. I kept complaining. That one was like a thorn in my flesh that period. And that was where any small time, that issue, any little provocation, he will throw me out. And that's when that Pastor Paul stepped in. I wanted to come and bring us closer and talk to him. The Pastor Paul that is accusing me of collecting money from, or stopping me or dropping me at the gates. Now, so fast forward, I said, okay, maybe because I don't have anything doing, maybe that's why. Maybe if I was supporting or bringing money in the house, maybe he will have some little respect for me. That's what I thought. But even when I started making money, bringing, supporting, there was still no respect. So I then started to do a lot of things. I just wanted to, even if I see real estate, like my friends, my friend, one of my friends and her husband that have this real estate company, I'll just repost them on my status, just to see anything at all. And then I even started working in UBA Bank as a marketer. And then at the same time, I was doing real estate, anything I said, just if I see any building, one thing, I've posted, just to see if I'll get clients and get commissions. Fast forward, I saw this Face of La Mode. It's Face of La Mode. I was like, oh wow, because they said it's a brand, right? She wanted as they are doing, organizing the face of the brand, the Face of La Mode. But La Mode is popular, and I now enrolled. I was at work that day because I was already working then in UBA as a marketer. I just quickly used the little money in my hand to register, and because I saw that I saw what it came with, the benefits, the money, and then the value, people, because I was sewing, so I needed to have good network, get that exposure and all of that. I came back home. I told my husband. He was not happy about it, and he was like, I should not do it. He said it was pageants like that. His wife cannot do pageants. He said that him, they organize girls for boys, and be for men. Then at them did the industry, and then know how did they do catch woman, and then how did they sleep with. I said, why are you always like this? Everything about you is that they want to sleep with me. They want to sleep with me. And then he will say, I don't have sense. I'm naive. I'm this. He's trying to protect me. I say, here. Okay, fine. And then this product trying to protect me, so is insult. He will insult me. And because I was already at that point where I felt like this man does not have respect for me, because I feel like I'm not contributing anything positive to this family, right? I don't have money. I now thought, let me just do this by myself. This is an opportunity. This is something that I saw it as a good opportunity. And I just went ahead with it. At that point, I was already angry. I didn't care because of every other thing I was going through from him. I just went ahead with it. And then I even started giving, anytime Pastor Paul called me, how are you doing? What's going on? I will even give him the information, tell him, oh, this is what I'm working on right now. This is what I want to do right now. Oh, please, I need your support. And that was the cause. They said I was calling men. Oh, please support me. Even one of his friends, I called him, please support me. But you know that he turned them to me begging men. Because so far he see me on the phone talking, it's like he's saying I'm begging men for money. So when that his friend even supported me, then comedians now, how they can be very playful. He now the guy voted for me. He's a good friend of ours in the family. He voted for me. Then he now sent the screenshot to my husband, like, oh, I just supported your wife. He did not know that thing he did put me in trouble. And that was how Princewill got angry and said, I'm begging I've now graduated from begging men for money to now begging his friends for money. And I'm not begging them for money. They just voted for me. He's just showing you a proof that he voted. But no matter how I say it, all he targets is me begging men for money. And then fast forward, I just continue with that Lamode thing, right? Face of Lamode. And then, because of the whole issues in the marriage, how it's always, anything I do is a problem, and he kept complaining about the Lamode thing, I just stopped. And Pastor Paul, when I told him about it, he said he's going to raise some money. I will send to my client, my contacts, my list, people on my list or my contacts to vote for me. Because if one person just vote maybe 100K or 1 million, it will not count according to them. It has to be different numbers, right? That's what they said. So he said I will share to my friends or contact to vote for me. And I was not telling, my husband was there in the living room. So he overheard, and I was not even still explaining it to him. And I was like, I've said you should not do this thing. Which man in this Lagos will want to give you money for free without knocking? Now we they run this thing. I say, why is your own always knocking? So this person I want to sleep with me, married man. They say, you don't have sense. You're so naive. And he continued, and I just said, you know what, I'm not going to tell him anything again about this. I just ignored him. But then it got to a point where I just felt like, you know what, since he was not in support of it, I just packed it up. I stopped. Now, I stopped participating in the Face of Lamode thing. I stopped reposting for people to vote. So I was out of it, of course. Now, fast forward months later, after we've had that issue too about it, and we have reconciled, months later, after the Lamode stuff has passed, the Face of Lamode has passed, months later, they did that same company did something this children with disability, and the owner, the founder, the owner of that Face of Lamode reached out to me and said, Choma, because I registered for this, right? I was one of the contestants. She now said, I see that you also speak, on radio. You are an on-air. I said, yes, ma. An on-air personality. I said, yes, ma. She said, okay, can you MC this? I said, yes, I can. And she paid me. And I was so happy. I now came and told my husband, see you, look. And guess what? He was happy. At that point, he was proud of me. Hey, in fact, he drove me to Allen, from Agodo to Allen, where they had that program for children with disability, where I was the MC for that conference. He was so happy. He drove me there. So now we have passed these issues in the marriage. We are talking about domestic violence. We're talking about the cheating and rubbing it on my face and all the and you are bringing things just to prove a point that Choma is terrible. Choma, patiently. Choma, you are bringing things that are passing that did not make sense. Like when we had this issue, like I said, he was so happy. He was proud of me when I had that MC gig. He drove me there. If I will post the picture so that you see. And even one of my friends reached out to me and said, one of my friends was like, you said you don't, then Princewill has taught you, because he's also an MC. So you have learned from Princewill. So this is issue that we had in the marriage, and we've passed, we've settled. We're talking about domestic violence and infidelity that you're rubbing on my face constantly, and you are bringing things that has passed, things that I don't even understand, just to prove a point that Choma is terrible. Things that we've even had issues, fought about it, settled. You at some point you became proud of me, and I told him, anytime we have this conversation about this Lamode thing that he calls patients, I told him that, do you know that that period, because of I registered for this Lamode, Face of Lamode, I got the opportunity to go and MC that program, the children with disability, and you were so proud of me. You drove me there. Why are you using it now to prove a point, or to insult me, or to rubbish me? Anyway, this is how he has always said, anything I want to do, don't do. I want to do real estate now. He will say it's hookup girls that fool real estate. It's hookup girls. I want to do this one now. Don't do this one. It's hookup girls. Everything. Sometimes I will tell him that, do you know that there's no place that, even if you're selling granite, there's no place that a man will not want to sleep with you, because he said that men used to sleep with them. No married women can be doing, no married woman, no responsible married man should be doing real estate. And I'm like, okay, because of him, because of husband, I stopped doing real estate. If I want to do this one, because of husband, I stopped selling doors. Everything they want to sleep with you, they want to sleep with you. Like this, you're projecting, because you know yourself. This is how you always sleep with every woman that you see, because to you everything is to sleep. So you think the same thing you are doing to the girls is what they want to do to your wife. I am not your hookup girls. I am not them, and I'll keep saying it. So you are projecting on me. That is how, even the so-called, I will mention your name at this point, because all of you are doing solidarity and even saying rubbish. You going about saying rubbish about me, supporting Princewill. The same best friend in the UK that he will be prison to tell me, even she too, that's how she's doing foundation. Now me, I start foundation. See, that's how men used to sleep with them with in the name of foundation. And he kept saying all sort of manner of rubbish, because I know how many times I will say, I don't trust your relationship with this person. He will try to convince me, this girl, nothing, she's just my best friend, she's just my guy. This one way resemble man. This one way gay, all the guys, all the comedians don't sleep with. This one way they sleep with married men. It's the same person. Every time you will use just you are projecting on me that I'm not your girls, I'm not your best friend, I'm not like the hookup girls you are carrying. I am not them. So I've said this before, I will say it again. I made that some videos last week, but I took them down because, you know, like I already mentioned the reason why I took them down, you know. So I'm going to say this again. This post about where Princewill is making that I said I need a new phone, I need a new laptop, I need money. I made that post on my WhatsApp status. I took that screenshot from somebody else's WhatsApp status. Now this is what happened. I had a baby in September 2024 on his birthday, September 11th, and then he bought me a car. Before he bought that car, he had already said that he wants to buy me a car, and I told him that do not, and I repeat, I told him, do not buy any car for me now. That now is not the time for all this plenty spending or luxury. That let us manage this one that he has. I know that, and I told him in my, like, and I quote, I said, you know, get where they go. If I have this baby now, I'll just be at home nursing, and we can be managing your one car. I said, instead of you to buy a car for me, instead give me the money, let me enroll for this Prudential Fashion Academy, because I've always wanted to, you know, go there. And he said, okay. He has this video because that day we had this conversation, his phone was on the dining table where he wanted to make all this his news analysis, this content, you know, the video he makes. And then I think the phone was already recording and we're having this conversation. You understand? Prince, I'm very sure you have this video. So it was first year of our marriage that I mentioned to him that I need a car. I think first or second year of the marriage. That was like years ago that I mentioned that I need a car. We're taking a stroll down the road. I mean, there are times where, like I said, that there were good times, and there were times where it was really bad. That, no, leave my house. Who is this girl? You get angry. Why are you prognosing? Why are you searching my phone? Why? Now, there were times where, of course, everybody's head was calm. And that fateful day, we were taking a stroll down the estate in Makudo, and I saw a mattress, and that's when I now said, I love this car. I like this car. That I want the car. So, and I said he should buy me a car. That was years ago. Now, years later, which was 2024, I was pregnant for the second baby, and he mentioned he wants to buy me a car, and I said, and I quote, don't buy a car, we don't need it now, because your content he got monetized around 2022 or 2023, and I was like, that now is not the time. Now it's time for us to, you know, to invest. Now we can be managing one car for now. And that was why I mentioned in one of my videos that I archived. Like I said, I took down that video. I mentioned in the video, some of you followed, I said that he told me to travel. He told me to travel out to have that second baby, and I told him no, that instead of me to travel out, let us use that money and, you know, expand, invest. Now it's time to save, not time to do luxury right now. You understand that God is blessing us now. We don't need all of that. We should, instead of only me to go, that let us make enough money that all of us will go together. And I always tell them that I would not like to be in Sokoto and you are in Kafanchan. Anywhere I am, that there is where you be. Just like my parents cannot leave their side, they are like twins. So I always project the same thing in my mind, that I cannot be in Sokoto, you are in Kafanchan. Anywhere I am, you will be there. You understand? I told him that no, that won't be too much money. It's like carrying all the money you have saved and sending me there. And that was why I stayed back, and I gave birth to the second baby here in Lagos in government hospital. Maybe if I had known, if I was greedy, if I was someone that was just looking out for myself, or I didn't care about the marriage, you know, I would have just seized the opportunity, because some people would see it as an opportunity, but I did not, because in my head we're building a family together, and it's not time to be playing smart or to be greedy. It's time to invest, it's time to save, it's time to gather, so that we can have enough to enjoy. That was my idea. Do you understand? Maybe if I had traveled, who knows, I would have not suffered liver enlargement or uterus compression, but that's by the way. And then when he now mentioned he wanted to buy me a car, that 2024, I told him, after he had said he wanted me to travel, right? And I said, and I refused, travel out, and I refused. And he said he wanted to buy me a car. I told him, no, let's manage one for now. That instead of me to buy a car for me, give me the money, let me go and enroll in Prudential Fashion Academy, because I've always wanted to go there. Okay, so that day he had this recording. I'm very sure that day he was making a video, he recorded this. So I had the baby till September on his birthday. He gave me that car. He bought that car. I was surprised, but I was grateful. I was so happy and I was surprised. But then when we entered inside the room, he said, oh, they made a mistake. They put his name instead of my name. That you don't worry, that they will change it soon. And I said, no problem. Whether not your name, they do, or not my name, it is for the both of us, right? And I was happy. Now, fast forward in October. That was September, right? 2024. I had the baby. And then in October, he did his comedy show. He went and lodged for days, and then he came back, and I started saying lubricants are condom. And if I complain, he will tell me, give me story like, oh, you wanted to use it for comedy show, and then I will but just ignore it and throw it away. The next time he will go out and come back, I will see different funny things. I will throw them away. Lubricant condoms, funny things, I will throw them away. And then it became like a pattern. Like it was, if anywhere I open, different things I'm seeing on his clothes, different. I would funny, irritating things, but that's okay. And then when I complain, he'll tell me, what are you looking for in my closet? What are you in our house? What am I looking for in the wardrobe or in the closet? And then when of course he ran out of excuse, he now started getting, angry, like agitated, like he just want to defend. What are you doing this? Why are you touching my this? Why? Now, fast forward, I was tolerating, I was enduring. He will go out, leave his wife that just had a baby. He will go out. He will come back like the next day or 2 days later. When I'm calling him, he's not picking. When he finally pick, maybe the next day, he will not tell me, if you are tired, go back to your father's house. Why are you disturbing me? I went to bought you a car. Is your mother not there for Mugo? Why? I needed my husband. He was not there. Now, fast forward, I was managing. I was tolerating. I was crying and breastfeeding. I was in pain. Now, that was that same November. Now, 2024 November now. I woke up one fateful morning. I overheard him on the phone with somebody. They were talking about a comedian that the marriage got broken. And the way they were talking, and I said, what's going on? What happened? He said, it's all over the internet that so and so the marriage got broken, that they separated, this and that. He was like, bros with no get sense. Say if not him, if you don't give on that woman belly. And before he said that, when he was even saying the comedian that the marriage got broken, he mentioned their name, I was honestly not happy. Like, I was feeling very sad that he was not even telling me that why am I getting worked up, that any marriage won't break me, break now. And I looked at him, like you, and I said that, but there are children involved. Like maybe they should even try, or maybe pray, or maybe seek counseling. I was so worked up, and it was not like making me look like I was stupid for being what it was like. I beg, which happen. Any man if you want break me, break now. I'm prosperous, no get sense. If I'm here, for don't give another man blessings, I for don't clear. And I was like, are you aware you are having this conversation with your wife? If not you, if I don't give another woman blessings, because the woman could not have a baby for a long time. I was angry, and he said, oh, no, it's a joke, he's just joking. I said, no, this is not a joke, this is serious. You are not joking. Because number one, I've been tolerating for a while, all the cheating, all the condoms, all the and you're saying this to my face. Who knows if you have not even given somebody belly? That's how he was like, no, he's just joking. He was trying to patronize me, but I was angry. He left that evening, said he was going to somewhere. I said, no problem, bye-bye. He went. Me, I was so angry. I was so sad. I was going through my phone and I was just going through watching status, people's WhatsApp status, just to the ones that are funny, I will laugh. The ones I did, I will repost, And I came across, I need a phone, I need a new laptop, I need a new phone, I need money. And the woman wrote from my mouth to God's ears. That's a church member's status. I just took a screenshot too and I reposted it because that was actually what me and him discussed the previous night. He was telling me he wanted to buy a new phone, wanted to buy a new laptop, wanted to buy cameras, and I encouraged him to do that. Right? I encourage you to do that. And he said, if I buy all of these things, he will not have enough money to give me for that month of November for food stuff. And I said to my husband, don't worry. I'm expecting my salary will be paid soon, my commission. I will take care of the house for the month. Go ahead. Those things are important. Those cameras are very important since you want to go into production, like movie production full time, And because I now mentioned jokingly that, you buy me my own new phone. And he said, but you just said that you take care of the family. I can't say that I'm saying that there will be there's not enough money. And I told him that don't worry, I'm just joking. And that day passed. So because I saw that post, it resonated with what we had, like the conversation me and him had the previous night. And me that is just sad looking at people's WhatsApp status, I just took that screenshot too and reposted it on my status. And that's what my husband saw, and he got angry and he started sending me long messages. This is who you are. This is how you are indirectly asking men for money. This is who, like hookup girls. This is their character. This is how they used to do. I can tell you how many hookup girls that used to do this thing. And he started mentioning all his hookup girls' name. And I said, I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not your side chick. I'm not like them. He said, this is how we used to get them. If they say they want pizza now, for example, we'll now enter their DM and say, fine girl, I can buy you pizza. Come here. And then we go. I said, me, I'm not them. And then we started having that argument. And he got angry and said, marriage ended. I thought he was just bluffing because he sent me long message episode. And he came back that midnight. Truly, he packed his things and left. He said marriage was over. That was 2024 November. That was where my problem in this marriage, our problem in this marriage started till now. When he came back in December, I was crying. I knelt and begged. My mother knelt and begged. We tried to help. I said, you want to leave me and these two children? We just had a baby that's barely 3 months. Where are you going to? After I've been tolerating and managing, I've given birth to the second one, and you want to now finally know that you're not tired of this marriage. After that is even I'm the one that have the right to say I'm not doing it again. And then he left. He came back in December. First week of December. I said, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the children. To me, this marriage is over. And that was how he made life living hell for me. That was how he made living until he left again in December because I made a post about a customer that I was going to disappoint, and I was in the hospital. I was admitted, and he got angry and said marriage was over. He posted our wedding pictures all over, said marriage ended.